Hello friends, welcome back. I'm Beth, here to help you fulfill your potential in meditation. As most of you know, I don't have just one method that I teach to everybody, like one size fits all. Instead, I much prefer to teach people one-on-one. And the reason is that you're all different. So please use these videos as a guideline, and if there's anything that isn't quite working for you or anything that doesn't quite fit, then be in touch and I'll be more than happy to discuss those things with you one-on-one. Today's video is about deepening our perception of dukkha or suffering when we're practicing Vipassana meditation. Now, as we've already said many times, when we're practicing Vipassana, the object of our attention is the momentary arising and passing away of ultimate reality, of nama rupa, materiality, mentality. And as we sustain our attention on the momentary arising and passing away of ultimate reality, we want to be contemplating the three characteristics of anicca, dukkha, anatta, impermanence, suffering, and non-self. Now, as our Vipassana practice deepens, we want our perceptions of these three characteristics to also become deeper and sharper and more refined. So what I'm going to speak about today is one way that we can deepen and sharpen our perception of that second characteristic, dukkha, suffering, using a wonderful little framework that we find in the Pali texts called the toes. Now, what does this mean? Well, toe is a suffix that we find in Pali grammar that we add to the end of a word to turn it into an adjective. So in the Pali text, we find 28 different types of what we could call dukkha toe, or adjectives that mean the same thing as dukkha, suffering, or offer a slightly different spin on the word dukkha, suffering. To make this clear, let's take some examples. One example would be roga toe. Roga toe means like a sickness. So rather than contemplating the arising and passing of ultimate reality as just dukkha, dukkha, instead we can contemplate it as roga toe, as being like a sickness. Another example would be salato. Salato means like a dart or a spear. So again, instead of contemplating the arising and passing away of ultimate reality as just being dukkha, dukkha, instead we can contemplate it as salato, being like a spear or like a dart. Another example would be asaranato. Asaranato means no refuge, without any kind of refuge or safety to be found. So again, instead of contemplating as dukkha, dukkha as normal, instead we could contemplate as asaranato, without refuge, without any safety to be found. Now, as I said, there are 28 of these dukkha to, so I'm not going to go into them all now. I'll put that information on my website, but now I just want to say a few words about how we actually do the practice. Now, when we are practicing with these toe, it's really important that we contemplate them deeply, not superficially. We want to contemplate each toe to the point of it being an absorption. So we are fully immersed for a long time in seeing the arising and perishing of ultimate reality according to that toe. We want to do it to the point of absorption. We then want to repeat that for all of the 28 different types of dukkha toe. So that's what I have to say today about sharpening and deepening our perception of dukkha, suffering, using the toes in our Vipassana practice. If there's anything that's unclear to you or anything you're unsure about, then be in touch with me. I'll be more than happy to discuss those things with you one-on-one. But now's the time to get off of those screens, get onto the cushions, let's actually do some practice. There's a remainderless ending of all suffering, so let's not waste time. As most of you know, I do all of my work on a donation basis, so I encourage you to support me either through Patreon or through my website so that I can continue to make these videos. Thank you so much for your support. Wishing you the best with your meditation.